Hey everybody, Fifth Horseman here again, playing more Kerbal Space Program, and we've got more than 3 things we can put people in. But one thing we don't have anymore is the ability to do anything with Kethane. The Kethane mod updated. I'm about a week behind posting these, maybe even 2, depending on how often I post the videos. But my Kethane drilling station and my Kethane scanner, I can't load them because they contain invalid parts. So I can't do my Kethane mission today, but that's good because actually what I want to do is I want to send probes up to Minmus and find flat areas in the sections of Minmus that have Kethane deposits on them. So that's what I'm going to do today. Basically, this is going to be a prospector mission, so we're going to be doing prospecting, and that's going to be fun. So I'm going to build a little probe. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like, but it's going to start with one of these guys. And I will be back when I have something I like. So let's go ahead and save this guy as a subassembly, and we'll call him Teeny Tiny Lander. How about just Teeny Lander? Actually, we'll call him Prospector. And I do not have a name, an acronym for that. I just wanted it to look like an acronym because NASA likes to do that sort of stuff. So the point of this guy, though, is he has a ton of delta V so that he can land. Whoops, I fail at everything. Yeah, he has a tiny amount of delta V, so he can land in a spot. Then I can look around and then I can hop to another spot, look around, hop to another spot multiple times, and hopefully never have to worry about running out of delta V. And, ideally these things should have a ton left in the tank when the time comes. Sadly, I have to rebuild him. We can rebuild him because I drug him off the screen without without holding down Alt when I clicked him because I was talking instead of thinking. But that's the way it works sometimes. So yeah, 3,000 delta V. You can hop around on Moon a lot with 3,000 delta V, so I'm not too concerned about that. But anyway, so I'm going to build a ship to send this guy and 4 of his friends up to Minmus to land them around, and I will be back when I have such a ship available. Okay, well, this is it. All I got to do is strut it up a little bit, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to tell you the plan here. The plan is fairly simple. I built this thing for efficiency, which means it might fail just due to the fact that I don't have enough of anything that I need on it. The idea here, and I think this is all I need because the rest of this is going to be done in space. The idea here is that these solid rocket boosters are going to get us off the ground, along with the main, or not the main cell, the skipper engine. The skipper engine and all this fuel is going to do the rest of the work to hopefully get us almost into orbit, but not quite. And then I'm going to drop this thing. If this thing actually gets me into orbit, I might revert to back to vehicle assembly building and put a docking port on this guy, because I'm going to start, now that I have docking ports, I'm going to start making my my space program make everything recoverable, or at least toss out of orbitable. But then once this guy gets them in orbit, this guy hopefully won't have to use that much fuel and his horrible thrust to weight ratio to get into orbit. He will have, it says 594. That's not what it said before. Uh-oh. Okay, tell you what, let me... Yeah, 594 is not enough to get to Minmus and get into orbit and all that stuff. So let's put a... Whoa, not that tank. Let's put a slightly bigger tank on this guy. 1078? I think that'll do it. Let me make sure. Yeah, it's about 1,000 to get to Minmus from low Kerbal orbit. So hopefully this 1,078 will do it. This mission's going to be running on a slight budget. If all else fails, if this thing just gets me into a Minmus orbit, these guys can do the rest because they have tons of delta V. But then yeah, then these guys are gonna deorbit themselves. And you know what? Because I added a little bit extra, this thing has a little bit less. Oops. Does Control Y work? Yes, it does. Okay, sweet. Okay, let's grab it by that. Let's actually put 4 of these on here. There we go, 4403. That's a little bit better. It's a little bit closer to what I want. And I think we should add a couple docking clamps. I'm sorry, launch struts, whatever you want to call them. We'll put them over here. Don't need 4, we just need 2. And we're ready to go. Let's call this guy Minmus Prospector. And save him and launch him. This isn't the launch pad. I noticed 2 things. One, right as I clicked launch, I realized I have no solar panels up here. So let's go ahead and give him his 3 solar panels that the other guys have. And I also noticed that I lost my struts. And she loves to watch me strut, so I'm going to add those back. There we go. Now let's save him and launch him. Okay, much better looking than it did before. It was wobbling all over the place before. The sun hasn't quite risen yet, but that's fine, because we're going to be launching towards it. Kerbal alarm clock, we don't have anything going for 23 days. Our first stage is correct. Then we're going to dump these guys. Oh, our first stage is not correct. Then we're going to dump this guy. Then after that, it's all these guys up here actually aren't going to be used. So I don't know exactly what to do about that. I hate having these things. Let's go ahead and do that. I guess it doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and just put them all on the same stage, because this stage doesn't matter. I'm never going to use it. So I'm gonna do all this stuff manually. So we are ready to go, and in 3, 2. There we go. In 3, 2, 1, we're gonna launch. Pretty good profile here. Looks decent. Rising into the sun. Atmospheric efficiency probably already too high, so let me cut the thrust. We're also already doing a gravity turn, which isn't the best. Okay, our atmospheric efficiency's back down. This is not the most efficient launch. If I don't get into orbit, I know why. We've already started our gravity turn early, so I'm not going to bother doing that at 5,000 like I would normally do. We're not going nearly as fast as I want to be going. Yeah, this is basically a horrible launch. This is not the kind of launch you want to do. I'm wasting Delta V by not being efficient. And this is the mission that I can't really waste Delta V by being not efficient, because I don't have very much efficiency available to me. But we're cruising along here. Tell you what, I'll meet you in orbit or back on or almost orbit if orbit fails. Okay, well, we have a drop of fuel left in the tanks here. Don't care about surface anymore. The big number to worry about here is that our Delta V in our second stage, or in our first stage, is only 1,000. And that's kind of what we need to get to Minmus. And we need another 4-ish thousand to get into orbit. So I'm going to scrub this launch. And we're going to start over. We're just going to revert to launch, because I think I can do this more efficiently. Okay, back to surface values. Atmospheric efficiency is the single most important thing to worry about here, as well as heading. Also staging. Kerbal alarm clock, get back over there. And we're all throttled up. Actually, I don't want to be all throttled up. I'm gonna go all throttled up, but I'm just gonna watch this efficiency. And if it gets above 50 really quick, I'm just gonna X my throttle. So in 3, 2, 1, launch. Yeah, I just cut the throttle when I saw it get up to 30. Whoa, no control, no control. This is a problem. This is what we call a problem. And how's about we add some fins to this guy? Fins don't hurt too bad on the weight. This is why I tend to not use... let's go ahead and... How much did that hurt? Yeah, it's took off 1 Delta V. So I think we can live without a Delta V. Let's go ahead and save and launch. And like a moron, I didn't fix my staging, so I'll have to continue doing that each time. And 3, 2, 1, launch. Better. Okay, I got up to 50 and I killed my thrust. Just let the solids do their work here. We're already above... Actually, no, we're not above 100. I was looking at terminal velocity. Yeah, we're looking at this. 83, 84%. There we go. Actually probably bring up the skipper a little bit. Yeah, see, I'm actually losing efficiency, which isn't good. I'm not 100% sure what to do about that, considering the solids are too much. I mean, I could run 2 solids and then kick those off and run 2 more. Not sure. But I'm not going to start my gravity turn until we're at about 150 or so. Okay, well, we're in orbit. We have 905 fuel left, and the guys on the ground say, "Yeah, we're going to go for it." So we're gonna plot our Minmus burn here, which of course is going to be in the shade, I think. Yes, it is. So we're going to have to wait for Minmus to come around a little bit. We got plenty of time, though. We want to burn it basically at sunrise here. Perfect. Okay, now let's go back to Minmus Prospector. We'll switch to him. Back into map mode. We gotta turn ourselves around. Turn this thing around. We just want to basically, at sunrise, we want to do a burn. That will ideally get us a Minmus encounter. That's Moon. That will ideally get us a Minmus encounter without screwing up with the Moon. And we're really high, which is not ideal. If we set Minmus as our target, sadly, we could do another orbit. I think we're going to. Oh, we can't afford this. We're already running on fumes. Because see, if I do this burn, and then I do another burn here. See, let's just see if I do a burn here to correct our orbit, it's going to cost me a ton of delta V. A 227 delta V burn. I just don't have that. So, sadly, oh, we can't revert the flight because I've switched. So we're going to deorbit this guy. Okay, well, hopefully this ship will do it. If not, I'm gonna just call today a failure. I've split the duty between these things. I've only got 2 of these launching at the same time, which should save the other 2 for a little bit later in the flight. I also added more fuel and an ASAS tank control unit just to keep this guy a little more going. I'm launching. The sun is just below the horizon over here. I'm hoping I can just launch right into my Minmus transfer. That's my goal. So we are going to, actually I'm going to hit F5 right from here, because I might want to end up doing an orbit instead. So we're going to hit T to turn the SAS on. We're going to crank this guy up, and we're going to go 3, 2, 1, launch. And we care about surface, we care about atmospheric efficiency. We don't want that to get too high. If it gets above 80, I'm gonna throttle down my yeah, see, it's slowing down a lot, so I don't think I'm going to throttle down. I think I'm just going to wait and kick these guys off as soon as they die. Okay, we're at 90. So much more efficient launch. I'm kind of afraid now that our launch stage is going to take us all the way to Minmus. It's actually very good. We're at atmospheric efficiency, basically. Yeah, just throttling down a tiny bit fixes that. Okay, let's go ahead and start our gravity turn. Because we're... Yeah, now we'll never have to worry about atmospheric efficiency again. At least I don't think we will. Nah, we won't. Now it's just slowly turn ourselves into orbit. So, yeah, I'll meet you when I get up closer to orbit. Okay, we're in orbit-ish. Oh, I hit X for some reason to turn off my engine. Not a big deal, but kind of annoying. I dropped my big tank there. We're not quite as much Delta V as I was hoping to have by this point, but we are at the right place to meet Minmus. So I'm just doing this burn, and we're seeing what happens. I'm going to do it as efficiently as possible by just aiming at this thing. And we're slowly pulling our apoapsis away from the planet. And I'm out of fuel. So this was a failure, because these guys, although they have enough fuel... You know what? Tank fuel balancer. Why didn't I think about that? Liquid fuel into this guy. And oxidizer into this guy. Let's see. Just get our orbit out to Minmus. And we know that we're above it, which sucks. Let's go ahead and set Minmus as our target. Waste a ton of Delta V here. We gotta start burning. Hopefully this will get us a Minmus encounter. Ish. I might have to fiddle with it once we get our orbits inclined here. We'll have to do another adjustment burn to get an actual encounter. Okay, good enough. Okay, now if we slow down, that will get us there. So we just want to slow down, which is over here. All I care about currently is getting into orbit. I'll make some decisions later based on how this goes. Come on, give me an orbit. Give me an encounter, I should say. Okay, we have an encounter. Don't really care where the orbit goes, but I would kind of like it to be on the light side. And apparently we've now... There it is. Okay, yeah, we'll just deal with that. Okay, we don't care about this maneuver node anymore. All we care about is in 2 days we are going to be here. So let's go ahead and crank up time. Hello, Minmus. Okay. Now. That's not good. We need to go prograde to speed ourselves up. That's retrograde. We need to go prograde to speed ourselves up. We also need Minmus as our target, so yeah. This is all burning we would be doing anyway, so it's not that big of a deal that we're doing it now. We need to come a little bit closer to Kerbal. I mean, the orbit that you think you're slowing down yourself to slow down at Minmus periapsis, you're actually just speeding up your Kerbal orbit to match Minmus. So this isn't a big deal. Okay, we've got an encounter. We're actually, yeah, we're not quite there yet, but we're gonna take it. So let's go ahead and get into Minmus orbit here. For real this time. And there we go. Now at periapsis, we are going to... Actually, whoa! We're not going to do that, that's for sure. We're just going to do that. We're going to get into, like, say, a 50 orbit, and then we'll see what damage this has done to us here. Let's get this guy. User interface. There we go. Okay, let's close the alarm, and 17-second burn, so we can go down to about 10 seconds here. Whoa! And at about 8, I'm going to burn. $50. There we go. That's good for me. Okay, one more burn to get this guy into a 50 by 50 orbit. I think that was a pretty good burn right there. We got 50 by 50. Yeah, that works for me. Okay. Whew. Now, what we want to do here is, let's actually go to you. What we want to do is, we don't want to go into this guy anymore. What we want to do is, we want to balance all. So everybody only has 30%, which kind of sucks, but that's the way it's going to work. And then actually, we can out him. So everybody has a little bit more than that. Okay. What was that, 60%? That's actually much better. Okay, I don't feel quite so bad about this mission now. So now everybody here has the same amount of fuel, which is as fair as we can get it. So what we're going to do now is we are going to prospect our... and we actually don't need to do any of this anymore. Let's get... Oops. Okay, we do have to keep doing this. Transfer out. Transfer out. Because what I need to do is once we've transferred out, we need to not balance all anymore. Okay. Then we can turn these guys off. And then the fuel balancer is no longer doing anything. Which is fine. Okay. Now, we need to turn on Kethane grid. And we need to prospect some good spots. Now, while I was doing the scanning, this is the spot that really interested me the most. Because what I'm thinking about doing is having a portable drilling station. Like everything have some engines on it and some fuel. So I can once I've used up one of these, I can jump to the other one. 378 and this one's 346. So they're both really good. So I think I'm going to try to prospect both of these. Let's see, what's this guy? 229. I basically want the ones that have the most. 388. This is a pretty good one. Sadly, none of the good ones are on the equator. All the equator ones are under 300. So this is going to be a little interesting, but on Minmus, things aren't quite as bad as on everywhere else. I think, though, I'm going to start, and I might just do one of these, because I've been playing for a while, even though I haven't... Oh, 400, and the sun's just rising. So I think this is going to be our first target. So what we're going to do is we are going to detach one of these guys. Actually, we're going to hit F5 again. And we are going to detach one of these guys here. And then we are going to activate him. We're going to do a gear check. Yeah, sadly I don't have the tiny little lander's legs. They would be perfect on these guys. He's got 2158 delta V, which is a pretty big ton of delta V. I'm not all that concerned about his fuel efficiency here. But what we want to do is we want to land here. which means we're going to have to crazily affect our orbit here. Right around here, we're going to have to go way south and back. Not quite so south. Not quite so back. Not quite so south. It's kind of crazy to do here. We've got this now. Let's... There we go. It's probably the best we can do. And that's a 133 out of our 2,000. So we're still going to have 2,000 when we finish this burn, which is awesome. So, that's his job. We're going to... Let's just fast forward to it. This is actually kind of a cool potential screenshot here. If I can get the aim right. There we go. Okay. I don't know if that's going to end up being the screenshot for the thing, but hey, why not? I did not just use up all my power, did I? No, I did not. Are we in... Oh yeah, we were in time warp. That's why I couldn't rotate. And good, we're in the sun. We got to make sure we do everything in the sun, because the last thing we want to do is crash for no power. Okay, let's watch Minmus go by. I don't know how big the burn is, but it can't be that much, because it's... 133 is about a sixth. So that's... I have 13 units of this, and 38 seconds, which is about 3 of those 13s, so it's going to be... I just lost that. 3 seconds? Is that right? Did I just do the math in my head right? I'm going to assume it's going to be more than that, and at, say, 30 seconds. Oh, wow. Okay, let's just... Yeah, I was right. It's going to be about 3 seconds. So... let's see how our orbit looks. That's good enough for me. So now, down here, we are going to want to add a maneuver to bring our periapsis not that far down. We're actually high enough in orbit, which is actually a good thing when you're dealing with solar power, that we can do this. And what we're going to do is we're going to come around here, and right at sunrise, yeah, the sun's going to rise when we're here, which will be probably just perfect to kill our orbit right here. That is a really... Let me turn off the Kethane overlay. That is a really tight orbit. I don't think I'm going to go down quite that much. Oops. Because we got plenty of delta V here. I mean, this here is going to cost us 16 delta V, and then this to land is going to cost us, yeah, 200. So yeah, this is like 10% of our total delta V. So yeah, this mission is going to be a total success, which is awesome. Okay, I don't want this maneuver node yet though. What we're going to do is we are going to fast forward to the one we have. And we're going to make sure that aiming at it doesn't kill our electric power. It does not, which is good. Okay, it's a 16-second burn, so we're talking like less than a second. So we're just going to go right down to 1 second, and I'll do a time. I'll go down to like 5 seconds, and I'll do just a little bit of a burn here. Okay. What is our actual periapsis now? 4,000. That is low. That is lower than I'm comfortable with. I'm actually going to raise it up to 5,000. Actually, it's 4,900. There we go. Okay, Kethane grid back online. Minmus is going to rotate a little bit, but probably not too much. So let's just plan right at our periapsis to kill our maneuver node here. It's a 22-second burn, but it's actually not going to be. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to try to predict where sunrise is going to be. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is right at sunrise, I'm gonna tweak my burn here. So let's and actually we want to be facing away from this maneuver node though, because we want to hit the sunrise right as our. We want to be aiming. Actually, let's aim at the sun, because we want our energy to fill up, and then turn to do our maneuver node. And I was going to say we're 3 minutes, but there's not much we can do about that. So we're coming in. Is the sun already risen? The sun has already risen. Sweet. So we're not going to be in the shade anymore. Way down here. Where am I? Oh, I'm actually here. So I've actually passed my maneuver node. Okay. Yeah, see, this hill right here scares me. So I'm actually going to do the burn here to bring myself down. And it looks like we actually want to cheat up a little bit like that. Okay, let's make sure we're in the sun doing this. Our electric charge is going down, which means we're not in the sun. We're facing directly away from the sun. We could not be farther away from the sun. Okay, we'll just have to do a quick flip around when the time comes, which is actually fairly soon. If I delete this node, it shouldn't come back. It did. Okay. It's a 7-second burn, so let's go to like 12 seconds here. Whoa, crazy times. Okay, now I should be able to have time to flip over to my maneuver node. I don't actually care about the node itself. All I care about is this. And you know what? I'm going to delete this maneuver node. Turn off the... Oh, wait, I do care about the maneuver node itself, because I want to change my orientation. Okay. Yeah, we're going up, which is probably a good thing, considering how close to the ground we are. And... I'm just going to burn here. Yeah, this does not look like the flattest of areas. I will not lie to you. Okay, it's going to take 129. It's going to take 2 seconds to get to 0 velocity. So essentially, this is going to be super simple. He says right before he hits F5 to quick save. Let's go ahead and bring our gear down because we're coming in for our final approach. Yeah, I tried to save as much as I could. I actually thought about not using gear at all. And it's probably a good idea not to be honest. Minmus is so small. But it just gear feels right. So we'll come in for our final approach here. Actually, it looks like a pretty flat plane right here. Let's go ahead and kill our velocity right here. And kill this maneuver node quickly before anything bad happens. Yeah, let's just check this area out and see what it looks like. I don't know if you could hear my cat. She thinks that because it is 4:30, it's close enough to 7 o'clock to have dinner. Okay, this looks less flat now that I'm coming down into it. Still have plenty of delta V. There's our shadow. Yeah, this is looking less flat than it was before from above, but that's, again, this is why we're doing this. Well, we're just going to bring him down and see what it looks like, because you can never tell on these things. Yeah, the one thing about this is I don't have the... There we go. Okay, turn off our SAS. Yeah, not as flat as I wanted it to be. Although, I mean, it's less than a 10% grade. And I don't see much flatter, to be honest with you. I mean, that hill, way up on that hill, is probably not in the Kethane field anymore. Yeah, this might be the best we're going to get. Sadly, none of these Kethane fields were on the things. I think I'm going to live with this. I don't think that there's a better place around here. I mean, I could go to the top of this hill and see. I don't even know the direction that's in. Sadly, I didn't think to put anything on here that would tell me what direction is forward on this guy. Although I think... Is this forward, so it's actually behind? Oh, I can actually. Okay. Oh, yeah, and uphill. So I'm actually using the SAS to tilt myself this way. So I want to go about 315. Yeah, like right up here where those rocks are. Basically north. Whoa. Yeah. See, I have to rotate my thing around because I'm used to controlling a craft with the ground part on top. And the ship... Oh, I'm like, why is this ship so hard to control? Because I'm doing it wrong. Okay. So I want north to be facing this way. No, actually I want north to be facing this way. This is the way it is at launch. Yeah, like right up in here, this area. No more upward thrusting. Now we're still well within the Kethane fields, so I think this right here is a really good area to try for. That was too much. And like right at the top of this hill, this flat area right here. I hope this is interesting to you. I'm finding it fascinating. Because this is something I've never done before with Kethane, or with anything, any kind of base, is to pre-plan the location. And I have so much fuel left over. But here, I'm saying I kind of wish that I had saved some fuel, but this is probably one of the hardest ones to get to because of the crazy plane change maneuver. But, I mean, Minmus is so fuel-friendly. God, I can't burn little enough to just kill my... I gotta let myself fall a little bit before... This doesn't feel as flat as it looked when I was looking at it from the air. I panicked. Yeah, it's just a little bit better. I think I'm going to try to go a little bit farther. Over this way. That's a little bit farther north. Guess this leg is up. It's got a leg up. And we're coming back down, so I should probably orient myself correctly here. Yeah, I think this is where my base is going to be. For this Kethane field, at least. Yeah, this is perfect. And you know what's funny? I probably didn't need to bring all these landers. I could have just had a lander sitting where I wanted to put my base. And then when the time came... Whoop! And then when the time came, I could have just... fueled it up and then moved it to another place. Yeah, this is where my base is going to be. It's like maybe a 3% grade or 3 degree grade, which is probably about a 3% grade. Okay, sweet. I'm going to call it here. I think this is enough. I will probably plot out the other ones. You've seen it now once, so you know what I'm doing. I will plot out the other ones off camera. And then I will come back and I will tell you what. You know what? Just doing this once is worth a tech node, and I got to start unlocking stuff. So we are going to call this a success. Actually, we're going to rename him Minmus. Kethane base. Prospect. And he is now a lander. We are now going to go back to the Space Center. All that work, I think I earned a tech node. Yeah, the problem is now I need to get some things that I used to have. I don't need the scanner, but I do need the refinery, and I don't have it. Now, it shows up. Is it here? No, it shows up in one of these tech nodes. The refinery does. And the drilling and the drills. I think I actually have the drills. But yeah, the refinery shows up here, but this isn't where it is in... Oh, research. Oh! Sweet, I do have it. I just didn't research it. I forgot about the having to research things. When you get a new mod, because it's been so long since I did that. So I do have it. So let's go ahead and research. And research this. We have to go to all these tech nodes and make sure. So I was wrong. I was wrong about Kethane. I thought that I had to research it, but I don't. But I'm still going to research something. And that thing I'm going to research, I think, is this, because this has the cupola in it, and I'm going to want that on my space station. I really like the way those look on a space station. And for Minmus, I definitely am going to have a space station. So I'm just going to research this. And after I land the other 4, if this doesn't come back over here and unlock this, I think it will, though, because it makes no sense to have this and then go to there. So I think it's going to be this guy. But if it is, I'm going to want these eventually anyway, because nuke engines are big. So I'm going to research this now. And it did. And orange tanks. Yay for orange tanks. And a heavy converter unit, which is good. Not necessary, but it's good. Some more adapters. Those are all good. Okay, I'm happy. Okay, thanks for watching. I am Fifth Horseman. And when we come back, I'll land my other 4 probes and then unlock something else. But I will when that happens. As always, talk at you later.